Welcome to DX Central Live, Season 5. We will be starting the show soon, so make yourself comfortable and be sure to join in on the conversation happening in the chat. Also, don't forget to submit your shoutouts so we can celebrate together. The shoutout submission link is in the video description for our live stream. If you aren't already a subscriber, be sure to hit the subscribe button. While you are at it, giving this video a like and leaving a comment are great ways to help out the channel. We thank you for your continued support and look forward to seeing you in just a short while. Now get ready for DX Central Live, Season 5. Welcome to DX Central Live, Season 5. We will be starting the show soon, so make yourself comfortable and be sure to join in on the conversation happening in the chat. Also, don't forget to submit your shoutouts so we can celebrate together. The shoutout submission link is in the video description for our live stream. If you aren't already a subscriber, be sure to hit the subscribe button. While you are at it, giving this video a like and leaving a comment are great ways to help out the channel. We thank you for your continued support and look forward to seeing you in just a short while. Now get ready for DX Central Live, Season 5. Welcome to DX Central Live, Season 5. We will be starting the show soon, so make yourself comfortable and be sure to join in on the conversation happening in the chat. Also, don't forget to submit your shoutouts so we can celebrate together. The shoutout submission link is in the video description for our live stream. If you aren't already a subscriber, be sure to hit the subscribe button. While you are at it, giving this video a like and leaving a comment are great ways to help out the channel. We thank you for your continued support and look forward to seeing you in just a short while. Now get ready for DX Central Live, Season 5. Welcome to DX Central Live, Season 5. We will be starting the show soon, so make yourself comfortable and be sure to join in on the conversation happening in the chat. Also, don't forget to submit your shoutouts so we can celebrate together. The shoutout submission link is in the video description for our live stream. If you aren't already a subscriber, be sure to hit the subscribe button. While you are at it, giving this video a like and leaving a comment are great ways to help out the channel. We thank you for your continued support and look forward to seeing you in just a short while. Now get ready for DX Central Live, Season 5.
This is DX Central Live.
In the night, so dark and quiet, frequencies hum low like a riot, tuning in with all my might, searching for a voice in flight. Cajun air, it holds the sound, radio waves from town to town. Static crackles, mix and turn, waiting for that name to learn. Signal fades, the name's unknown, trying to catch it all alone. Mystery calls, the night my friend, searching till the very end. Moonlight dances on the dial, rumbling with that Delta style. Notes float softly in the wind, still I wait for news to send. Signal fades, the name's unknown, trying to catch it all alone. Mystery calls, the the night, my friend, searching till the very end. Bayou whispers keep me still, craving for that lingering thrill. Misted voices lost in haze, echoes in this southern maze.
This is DX Central Live.
He's got his antenna way up in the air, dreams of Latin music out there somewhere. Cards in his hand, maps on the wall, late nights waiting, but he gets no call. All those radio waves, they play with his mind, searching for signals, but they're so hard to find. From Puerto Rico to faraway land, tune in the static, still no guitar in hand. He's there in the darkness, waiting for a sign, humming to the silence with a hopeful line. But the airwaves are quiet, nothing comes through. Just another night, feeling deja vu. Oh, those radio waves, they tease and they taunt with promises of rhythms, but give him just one. From Puerto Rico, he's searching afar, dreams of a broadcast beneath the bright star. And in his small room, by the glow of the moon, he waits for a melody, morning or noon. Signals may fail, but his hope never fades. Seeking the music, his spirit demands. Another dawn breaks, he's still at the dial. With every sunrise, he promises a smile. From Puerto Rico to faraway land, tune in the static, still no guitar in hand. He's there in the darkness, waiting for a sign, humming to the silence with a hopeful line. But the airwaves are quiet, nothing comes through. Just another night, feeling deja vu. Oh, those radio waves, they tease and they taunt with promises of rhythms, with a hopeful line. But the airwaves are quiet, nothing comes through. Just another night, feeling deja vu. And in his small room, by the glow of the moon, he waits for a melody, morning or noon. Signals may fail, but his hope never fades. Seeking the music his spirit demands. dances to the rhythmless blues.
This is DX Central Live.
I got my radio on, just trying to get on it. But my baby says no way, so I'm stuck in this chair. I dream of signals far from north to east to west, but I can't put up no antenna. She says it's for the best. Dreaming of DX, signals I can't hear. My baby won't let me, so I'm sitting here in tears. That static calls my name, whispering in my mind. But without that big old tower, the signals I can't find. I see the towers rise in a distant starry sky, but here I'm bound and tied, can't even say goodbye. Dreaming of DX, signals I can't hear. My baby won't let me, so I'm sitting here in tears. Dreaming of DX, signals I can't hear. My baby won't let me, so I'm sitting here in tears.
DX Central Live is brought to you in part by...
With a lifetime membership, the International Radio Club of America gives DXers incredible value by putting important station information right at your fingertips. The club's e-publication, the DX Monitor, includes DXer loggings, station information updates, international loggings, and more. Other club publications include the IRCA Mexican Log, a must-have resource for any DXer that chases stations from Mexico, the TIS-HAR list, the IRCA slogan list, sunset sunrise maps, and DXer technical guides. The joint IRCA-NRC email reflector and groups.io group is a hub for real-time DX conditions, station news, and DX-related conversation. For more information, visit ircaonline.org. That's ircaonline.org. From long wave to satellites, medium wave through HF, ham radio to scanners. If you can DX it, the Spectrum Monitor has you covered. Editor and publisher Ken Reitz has assembled a who's who of radio writers to share their knowledge and expertise from a wide range of DX-related topics. Each month, the Spectrum Monitor's columnists dive into their specialties to give readers tips, tricks, the latest news and station updates, and more. The Spectrum Monitor also provides a monthly assortment of feature articles that give in-depth insight into the past, present, and future of DXing. You can get a full year of the Spectrum Monitor for only $24. Individual issues from the current year are available for $3 each. You can also purchase previous years of the Spectrum Monitor in their entirety for as low as $12. For more information, visit thespectrummonitor.com. That's thespectrummonitor.com. For more than 90 years, the National Radio Club has been at the forefront of providing DXers with the latest in station news, DX-related technical information, and reception reports from DXers around the world. The NRC's AM radio log, now in its 45th edition, is the most expansive and detailed resource of station information for U.S. and Canadian radio stations that is available in any format. The club's publication, the DX News, is available in both print and electronic format and provides the latest information on call letter and format changes, construction permits, and other information to help keep DXers informed of the latest updates they may hear on the air. For more information, visit their website at nationalradioclub.org. That's nationalradioclub.org.
Through crashes of static in quiet hours, we listen. In languages we can scarcely understand, and of places we have only visited in our dreams, we listen. Incessantly, we perfect our array of aerials, receivers, and resources. We refine our skills and our techniques so that we might listen. We are DX Central, and we're all about radio. Visit us at dxcentralonline.com or check us out on YouTube. Search DX Central. Keep up with DX Central. Follow us on Twitter at DX Central.
El Salvador? No way. CRET? You serious? That's her. That's her.
You're watching DX Central Live with Lloyd Van Horn, and that's a very wise thing to do.
It's a Friday night, Lloyd in the North Shore, setting frequencies right. AM and FM, the airwaves collide. DX Central Live, where the signals can't hide. Tuning in the static, chasing down the sounds. Every single signal is magic we have found. All radios hum, the chatters all agree. DX Central Live is the place to be. Folks in the chat, shout out your call. From east to west, we're breaking down the walls. It's the magic of the night, where frequencies fly. Join us now on DX Central Live.
From the Gulf South
to your corner of the world.
This is DX Central Live.
Now here's your host, Lloyd Van Horn.
It's David Central Live. DX Central Live. We've got all the Davids in the house tonight. DX Central Live from the North Shore Studios here in Mandeville, Louisiana. Good Friday evening to you for Season 5, Episode Double Deuce 22. Live in effect at our 23:45 UTC time now that we're in daylight savings. Hopefully it's been a great week for all of you. Some good DX your way. I hope that some of you were able to get involved in some of the FM Tropo. Some of our Gulf Coast folks were able to get into some of the Gulf Tropo that we had this week. We did here. So we're going to talk a bit about that tonight. In fact, for our FM hour, our second hour of DX, we're going to do some recording review. See what we caught. I haven't touched the recordings yet, so we're going to do some of that. We've got AM DX out the wazoo. We got the Gray Line Challenge going on right now, the Spring Equinox Challenge. Gray Line DX only, and of course we are right now around that Gray Line time frame here in Mandeville where I am. Sunset's a little after 7 o'clock, so we're right up in there. So this will actually be the first time I've had a chance to do any Gray Line DX since we launched the challenge. Haven't had a chance to. Day job stuff has been keeping things pretty busy, as you might know, some of you might imagine. So we've been doing a lot of that this week. Not a lot of time for DXing of the Gray Line stuff. So hopefully we get a chance to do a little bit of that tonight. We did do some DX last week on the AM side of things and got some new stuff. So we're really excited to be talking about that tonight. Of course, we want to get to your shout outs as well. Just make sure you go to dxchallenges.com/shoutouts. Now, you don't have to register to submit a shout out, but we think it's a good idea that you do, because then you can take advantage of the DX challenges. And you can submit your loggings and things like that for the challenges that we have. So go ahead and register while you're there, and you can go ahead and submit your shout out. Let us know what you've been hearing since last week when we last met, and we'll get those shout outs here. We've already got quite a few already kind of stacking up here. So looking forward to getting to those this evening. Been an interesting week. Like I said, we had some FM Tropo. We had some interesting AM conditions, especially down south. I know we've had a couple of solar events this week. So definitely seeing how that's going to impact the bands this evening. And we've got some nasty starting to ramp up here. Now, we got a cold front coming through. There's this big low pressure system spinning over the top of the kind of the central part of the United States. And that's kicking up all kinds of stuff. We've got this moist air coming in from the Gulf. I'm not making this into a weather stream, I promise. We got moist, hot air coming in from the Gulf because it's been, it was 82 today. And that's going to combine with this cold front coming through and all this energy from this low pressure system. We've already are seeing some lightning strikes here in the central part of the United States. Now, that means for us down here along the Gulf and for a large part of the deep south, tomorrow is going to be pretty dicey. So please, wherever you are, if you are in the line of these storms coming tomorrow, please stay weather aware. Keep your weather radios handy. I think for some of you like Les, our friend in Alabama, might be hitting after dark, so definitely make sure you have your weather radios, your NOAA weather radios handy, so you can keep track of these storms as they kind of come through. And if you have any warnings, make sure you heed those and take shelter accordingly. We're under the moderate risk tomorrow here, 4 out of 5. Just to our north, though, to our northeast, just not that far northeast, they're in the high risk through parts of Mississippi and Alabama. So, and that's 2 days out. Usually you don't see a high risk until day of. This is, day 2 from the event, and we're already seeing a high risk. So that was earlier today that was announced. So that's pretty significant. So yeah, we're going to keep an eye on the weather, obviously. But just know that tonight during our AMDX session we'll be doing tonight, our sessions we'll be doing tonight, we may have a little bit of static lightning crashes that we have to deal with, but that's okay. We've done that before. Not a lot of time for antenna work this week, although I do have some on the horizon, and I would like to pose a question to the group here. I put this in the Slack channel as well yesterday, but I'm going to pose this question. So this will be it happened in the Slack. Tonight we'll be posing this question about what I should do with a couple of FM antennas that I have here. So I want to get some thoughts from the collective here. So when we get into our second hour, we'll be talking about FMDX a bit more. We'll pose this question. I've got 2 antennas and 2 different SDRs and 2 different setups. I'll be kind of going and kind of comparing which pairing I should make, antenna to SDR and so forth. So we'll lay out the case and talk about that here in our second hour. All right. So we are sitting here in the middle of our gray line challenge, and we are getting closer and closer to the equinox, where that terminator between night and day gets nice and vertical and gives us all kinds of unique conditions we don't normally see when it comes to the AM dial. So let's just go take a browse, and if you have a frequency that you would like for me to check out tonight, make sure you let me know in the chat. If you have a frequency you want me to check, we'll go hop on over to that. But for this first DX session, we are brought to you by the National Radio Club. NationalRadioClub.org is a website for more information about becoming a member of the oldest radio club continuous operating since 1933. Oldest radio club in the world. National Radio Club, NationalRadioClub.org. I actually have to go send my EDXN renewal here in this week. Actually, I just remembered I have to do that. So we are sitting here right now on our DX Central Kiwi. And with this DX Central Kiwi, we have paired our PA0 RDT Mini Whip right now. We also have at our disposal a 22x70 CAS antenna at 125 degrees, so we're looking south. We also do have a 15x56, Super Loop at 263 degrees. And I know this says 195 22x72 CAS. That's actually got to change. It's a 15x60. I just replaced it last night. We have a rotation of antennas in the backyard here. And right now we're on the 15x60 CAS at 215.35. And right now it's pointing at 215 towards the southwest. Why? Well, because we're in the Gray Line Challenge, and Tim Trump has raised the gauntlet, and Stephanie, our friend out in California, is accepting that challenge, and she's been crushing it with the Trans-Pacific stuff, and we want to get on the action. So I'm going to be pointing my antenna down under and towards that general direction. So we're going to see if maybe we can get a couple of these carriers, maybe enough for a little audio. Probably not, but we're going to give it a shot. You don't know until you try. So that's why we have put the 215-degree CAS back up. Did that last night after a little yard work. And so that's what we're going to be working with. Now, I do have to replace the transformer on that one. I think there might be some wonkiness on it because I'm getting a lot more noise on that specific transformer. No matter what antenna I put it on, that transformer is capturing a lot of noise. So I'll probably have something that's kind of loose. So I'm just going to make a new one this weekend. So that'll be a project for this weekend, probably while it's storming. Just sit out in the workshop, watch the weather, and make a transformer. But let's go ahead and check out here. We also have our shortwave central Kiwi. Don't forget, that's looking at 150 degrees. That's a 25 by 72 foot elevated CAS, about 10 feet off the ground. Man, that sucker is amazing towards Latin America, which actually came in handy for me this last week. So we'll also be checking that one out as well. So give me those frequencies you want me to check out here, and we will definitely look that way. If you have something you would like for us to check for, we can do that. All right, so right now we're sitting on 780 because I know we were looking last night on our West Super Loop. Our friend Jacob up in Minnesota was getting KKOH out in Nevada. We didn't hear them here. Didn't have a shot at that. We did hear a little bit of, obviously, the BBM in Chicago, but also we did have a little bit of Radio Viva Pasto down in Colombia as well. So let's see what we got coming up right now. We're on the PA0 RDT mini whip, omnidirectional, 45 feet up in the air. Let's go.
Jason Sudeikis coming back for a fourth season. No word yet on
there is WBBM.
With business at 23 and 53 from the Bloomberg Newsroom, Tom Busby, News Radio 105.9 WBBM.
Things look like they might be getting better on the tri-state. We'll get an update on that from Trent coming up with 6.
And this is our 125-degree CAS. You got a nice het here. That is most likely La Voz de Dios down in Colombia. That's the same one we've been seeing for a while. We got one at 779.2, 672 rather. That's kind of far off there. I don't think that's them. Yeah, I don't think that's them. Let me go take a look and see the shortwave central Kiwi, if we're seeing the same thing here. And we are not. Ooh, it's loud. So I think that that het we were seeing there is local to my area here. Of course, the most famous, let me put this on mute for a second here. The most famous frequency for sunrise and sunset DX, especially the sunset, is 1580 and 1570. So let's go take a look and see what 1580 is giving for us this evening.
DX Central Live, top of the hour alert.
It's top of the hour time frame, so we are looking here on our PA0 RDT mini whip with our Kiwi. We're sitting on 1580 kilohertz, a fantastic sunset frequency, historically at least. It still does. I've got quite a few here on 1580 on sunset. Again, this is on our PA0 RDT mini whip, sitting about 45 feet up in the air. you go. Nice ID. Right off the bat. Trying to bring the air spy up here. But my SDR Sharp is frozen. Yeah, I was gonna say, folks on the East Coast are probably here going, oh, Shelbyville. WLIJ, not WLIK. Newport, WLIJ in Shelbyville. Let's just take a gander here and see if we have anything on the null. Not really. I'm trying to get the air spy out because I want to try out the CCC here. That's interesting.
Seattle Seahawks are signing wide receiver Cooper Kupp from the Rams, reportedly for 3 years, $45 million. Dallas agreed to sign defenseman Dante Fowler. The Chiefs re-signed running back Kareem Hunt. Miami signed running back Alexander Mattison. The Boston Celtics tonight, Jaylen Brown with a knee injury. Boston to be 48-36 in the second quarter at Miami. Still
yeah, that Fox Sports just kind of came out of nowhere. We've got a couple stations here on 1580 that could be, that we've heard previously, including a station KOKB in Oklahoma. And Oxford, WTAZ, Oxford, Alabama. Those are the two Fox Sports stations we've already heard here in Mandeville. Well, the Air Spy's not playing well tonight. Don't know who, what that could be. Let's also check 1570 and see if we have anything going on here. Oh, that's interesting. It's just not even seeing the Air Spy. We're gonna unplug it and plug it back in again. Wonder who that was. There we go. Now we have it working. Now I have it working. It's a classic country station on 1570. Also have it on the Perseus here. Wonder who that could be, actually. I heard AM 1570, but didn't hear the actual call sign or slogan or anything. This could be Ripley, TRB in Ripley, Tennessee. This could be them. Let's go back up here to the Kiwi. Oldies? Oh, that's probably Amit. Maybe ABL. Or KLLA, Leesville. A couple stations down here that it could be. Hey, Mamacita. I saw you this week. Let's just take a listen to see what's on the air spot here on 1570. It's on the southeast wire. Let me turn off or down some noise reduction here. So this is looking more towards Florida. Let me get this down here on screen. There we go. Pull back some of that noise reduction just a little bit. Oh, I got you there, Jacob. I thought it was an audio compressor. I was like, I don't know the difference. That would be WTWB down in Auburndale. La Rosa. Heard that when I was in DC. Speaking of DC, sent that column in for this next month for the Spectrum Monitor. My write-up on the DC trip. What we heard, how many stations were heard, and kind of my analysis. It was really interesting, actually, to kind of see how everything worked with just a U-loop. U-loop and an air spy. That's all it was. Worked really, really well. Let's take a quick break. When we come back, we'll have more DX heading this way. So don't go anywhere, my friends. Plenty more DX Central Live is heading your way right after this.
DX Central, because we're all about radio. Visit us at dxcentralonline.com or check us out on YouTube. Search DX Central. DX Central Live is brought to you in part by...
For more than 90 years, the National Radio Club has been at the forefront of providing DXers with the latest in station news, DX-related technical information, and reception reports from DXers around the world. The NRC's AM radio log, now in its 45th edition, is the most expansive and detailed resource of station information for U.S. and Canadian radio stations that is available in any format. The club's publication, the DX News, is available in both print and electronic format and provides the latest information on call letter and format changes, construction permits, and other information to help keep DXers informed of the latest updates they may hear on the air. For more information, visit their website at nationalradioclub.org. That's nationalradioclub.org. With a lifetime membership, the International Radio Club of America gives DXers incredible value by putting important station information right at your fingertips. The club's e-publication, the DX Monitor, includes DXer loggings, station information updates, international loggings, and more. Other club publications include the IRCA Mexican Log, a must-have resource for any DXer that chases stations from Mexico, the TIS HAR list, the IRCA slogan list, sunset sunrise maps, and DXer technical guides. The joint IRCA-NRC email reflector and groups.io group is a hub for real-time DX conditions, station news, and DX-related conversation. For more information, visit ircaonline.org. That's ircaonline.org. From long wave to satellites, medium wave through HF, ham radio to scanners. If you can DX it, the Spectrum Monitor has you covered. Editor and publisher Ken Reitz has assembled a who's who of radio writers to share their knowledge and expertise from a wide range of DX-related topics. Each month, the Spectrum Monitor's columnists dive into their specialties to give readers tips, tricks, the latest news and station updates, and more. The Spectrum Monitor also provides a monthly assortment of feature articles that give in-depth insight into the past, present, and future of DXing. You can get a full year of the Spectrum Monitor for only $24. Individual issues from the current year are available for $3 each. You can also purchase previous years of the Spectrum Monitor in their entirety for as low as $12. For more information, visit thespectrummonitor.com. That's thespectrummonitor.com.
Through crashes of static in quiet hours, we listen. In languages we can scarcely understand, and of places we have only visited in our dreams, we listen. Incessantly, we perfect our array of aerials, receivers, and resources. We refine our skills and our techniques so that we might listen. We are DX Central, and we're all about radio. Visit us at dxcentralonline.com or check us out on YouTube. Search DX Central. Keep up with DX Central. Follow us on Twitter at DX Central.
Signals in the static light, chasing sounds through the night, tuning into stranger waves. DXer in a late night craze, AM station calling out, in a state I've got no doubt, from a place I've never known. Time to make the air my own. Gotta stay up late, gotta catch that wave, gotta stay up late. DX test we crave. Eyes wide open, flicker screen, dreams within the static stream, frequency that never ends, far away we'll make amends.
From the DX Central North Shore Studios, this is DXC Live. Now here's your host, Lloyd Van Horn.
It's DX Central Live from the North Shore Studios here in beautiful Mandeville, Louisiana, where we, again, we have some storms heading this way in the deep south here tomorrow. So that'll be something we all have to kind of keep an eye on. Sunday, though, we have a beautiful day. It's going to be like 72, low humidity. Yes, we're already talking about humidity right now in March already. Low humidity, 72, beautiful sunny day. So I think the wife and I are going to go down South Shore and spend some time doing some more parading. St. Patty's parade going on, Irish parade down in South Shore, and one of the parades that was rescheduled from the last set of storms we had on Mardi Gras Day down there, also going to be tomorrow. So I think we're going to do some more kind of Mardi Gras part 2, as it were. So that should be fun. All right, let's take a real quick look at some of the things that we heard. I normally do my logs that I have heard in towards the end of the show, but I did want to get to a couple of these because there's some cool stuff in here, and I think it might be cool for others to share what they've heard recently. Now, I haven't had a lot of time to do any DX, and I only heard one station this last week on AM. I've only heard 3 stations so far this month. I need 2 more to meet my quota. I'm trying to get 5 new logs every month. That's one of my goals for the year. Well, I'm too short of that right now for March, so I need to buckle down and find some new stuff. But we did get 1 new station in the last week, and that was on the 7th, so the night of our last live stream that we had. That night, after everything was all wrapped up, we started chasing Argentina on 870, and by George, we got him. So I did want to play you guys a clip really quick, and the reason I want to play this and why I'm doing this a little earlier is because this goes back to a conversation that I've been kind of pushing on now for quite a while, and that is the beauty of the code channel canceller from AirSpy, because it is absolutely fantastic. And many of you know, here in the Mandeville, New Orleans area, about 30 miles to my southwest-ish is southwest is the 50,000 watt clear channel voice and the transmitter stick of 870 WWL. Big, massive station, right? Heard all over the country, all over the world, really. And it's 30 miles that way, actually that way. Yeah, that way. To my southwest, and the only thing between them and I is some water on Lake Pontchartrain. So yeah, they're pretty big in here. I was able to, using the code channel canceller, null them down just enough to be able to hear LRA1, Radio Nacional, out of Buenos Aires, Argentina. So I'm going to play a clip for you guys here really quick that shows what we heard. And we kind of matched that up with a live stream. I was recording a live stream down in Argentina on their Kiwi. And so I'm going to play some audio back and forth here on this clip. You'll get to hear music. Now, I also heard the 5+1 tips at the top of the hour. I heard the 2+1 at the bottom half of the hour. I heard some other spots where music was kind of lining up. But this was like the clearest lineup of music that I found in my recording of my on-air stuff, which is what you'll hear first, and then the online stream. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to pause it right here. What you're listening for here, there's a little melody. It's kind of an extended note. It's like, ah. I can't do it's way above my register. But it's an extended note that you're going to hear kind of weak in there, so you'll definitely want to have your headphones on. And that's what we're going to be listening for. And then when we get to the clip of the Kiwi, you'll definitely hear it, and then it'll replay the audio that I caught, and you'll definitely hear the cross-up. that tone you just heard was the minute marker for Radio Relo on 870, which is also obviously there because it's between me and Argentina. But here's where we actually match it up with the live stream. All right, so now that you have that little melody there in your head, let's go back to our on-air signal here, and you'll hear it clear as day. You can even hear the flute. All right, so there you go. That was the audio matched up. So the main reason I wanted to kind of talk about this, I don't want to give away too much about the article that I just wrote for Spectrum Monitor because it's not even on the streets yet. So I want to give you guys a chance to get to it before I start divulging what I talk about in the article. I do have a whole logbook analysis page that I made for it and everything else, which we'll share after the article is published. But the main thing I wanted to kind of talk about here is that with this instance here of me nulling out WWL, again, a local 50,000 watt station here, basically my backyard. I did the same exercise in DC. I was using an AirSpy HF Plus Discovery, recording an SDR Sharp, using the code channel canceller. Now, you know what kind of stations are up in the mid-Atlantic, northeastern part of the country. Even if you don't live out that way, you know there's all kinds of big flamethrowers in New York and Virginia and Pennsylvania and Connecticut and like all these just massive stations. Even if they're not 50,000 watts, they're still pumping out some power, okay? So there's lots of these big flamethrower stations that were on the dial there in DC. And I was able to, in many, many cases, null them out. And if there was something underneath, I could get it using the code channel canceller in AirSpy and SDR Sharp. So all this is to say, you know, I know we have a plethora of different things that we use. You know, we have different SDRs, different kinds of antennas. We have phasers and diversity mode with RSP Duo, and you know, you guys are Jeff and Rick and some of the others using Linrad and things like that. All these are different tools in the toolbox, right? Don't forget about the CCC. Don't forget about the code channel canceller because it does work really, really well on a live DX scenario and on a recorded DX scenario as well. You can still kind of see the benefit on both sides. And is it perfect? No, there is no perfect silver bullet, although I hear Linrad's pretty freaking close. But this is super easy to use. You have one antenna, one SDR, and it takes care of everything for you. You just have to kind of dial in the amount of correction that you want to do. So my recommendation is always, when you turn on the code channel canceller, start it with as little correction as possible, okay? And then take that up until you get rid of the signal you're trying to get rid of. Once you've gotten rid of the signal, stop. Don't have to add any more correction in. Now, with a big station like WWL, I had to crank it all the way up. And even then, it was still kind of getting in there. But don't forget about the code channel canceller. It's a fantastic feature. We talk about it a lot here on the show for a reason, because it's so easy to use. It's the economical approach for getting DX into your logbook in situations where normally 30 years ago, I wouldn't have been able to have gotten rid of WWL and here Argentina without some sophisticated phasing and multiple antennas and that kind of stuff. So just a single antenna. In this case, it was my 125 degree 22x70 CAS that I have. And it was my AirSpy HF Plus Discovery and the code channel canceller. And there goes WWL. They're gone. There's Radio Relo underneath them. There's Argentina. And I'm pretty sure Ecuador was also in that night, but I wasn't able to prove that because there was another Spanish station that wasn't Argentina that I was also hearing that I'm pretty sure was Ecuador. They've been heard here before, but I have 6 stations that I've logged on 870 with WWL to my south. Ecuador is one of those. Colombia is one of those. Cuba is one of those. And now Argentina. So 4 stations from Latin America on a frequency where I have a 50,000 watt clear channel station. Now, not everyone's going to be able to get those kinds of results with their local stations because sometimes there's just mitigating circumstances. Like I'm sure Jacob up in Minnesota, as much as you would love to get rid of KSTP and WCCO, probably kind of tough, especially for KSTP considering how close you are, right? So there's going to be certain scenarios where it just can't perform an absolute miracle and get rid of a station that's like you can see the tower from your backyard, right? That's going to be kind of a tall order. But I think for the vast majority of people who are just trying to get rid of those strong stations, especially if you're ever sitting on a frequency and you're like, I'm listening to WFAN and I hear another station underneath them, but I can't really pull it out. Well, there you go. I think it was, who was it this week? Mesa Mike. Sitting on 1110. Normally WBT is just blowtorch up into the Northeast, into the Mid-Atlantic, which I also noticed on my DC recordings how loud WBT in Charlotte was. Had never logged KFAB before, and then he said, let me try the co-channel canceller. Got rid of WBT, and there was KFAB in Nebraska, right? So there are tons of examples of this that have been provided of people who are getting amazing DX into their logbook using the code channel canceller. So if it's not something that's in your arsenal right now, if you have an AirSpy and you're just not taking, if you're using different software, I've stopped using other software with my AirSpy. I used to use SDR console with my AirSpy, not anymore. I'm sticking, if I'm using my AirSpy, I'm in an SDR Sharp because of the benefits that I get from the code channel canceller, because of the benefits I get from the noise reduction, things along those lines. So just my little 2 cents there. You guys do as you see fit, and your mileage may vary. But for this old salt here, SDR Sharp and the code channel canceller is the bee's knees. Right? Saw someone mention Guinness earlier. It's that time of the year, St. Patty's. Sweet. Let's launch. All right, let's get to your shout outs because I think it's about that time.
Shout out loud, hear the call for every single big or small, from AM to FM, from C to C. We celebrate the ones who snag the IT. Shout out loud, let it be known, you're never DXing all alone. Through the static we found our way. Shout outs making waves today.
All right. And Jacob does mention he has he said 14 logs on 1500 where KSTP is 4 miles away, and 13 logs on 830 with WCCO. Which, I mean, that's amazing, right? That's amazing that you can get away with getting that DX that's underneath those. I know a lot of times he's using there's a point where a KSTP switches their antenna pattern, and there's like 6 seconds of silence. He uses that to his advantage. There's also times where they may just go silent. You may have a breath of pause in there where a person's talking, and they leave a little dead air. And in that dead air, you might get an ID, right? So lots of techniques out there that you can use to get by your local big guns. All right, let's do some shout-outing. Starting with our friend Stephanie out in the desert in SoCal. Got quite a bit in here from Stephanie this time around, which is awesome. Domestic DX 1510 WLAC Nashville on the 8th at 900 UTC, top of the hour ID by mail. WLAC Nashville popped up out of the jumble of IDs that included KSFN's Radio Laser, KFNN, and KGA. Even heard an ESPN mention, but KCTE is daytime only, and it was probably them. KCTE in Independence, Missouri has been running their ESPN. It's branded H10WHB. They branded it as WHB, but it is them in Independence, Missouri. They've been running Naughty, late time, nighttime a lot lately. I caught them, what was it, on the 7th? Yeah. March 7th, I caught them doing the exact same thing with their ESPN and their WHB, so there's a very good chance you heard Missouri that night as well. That's a new state for Tennessee, number 1. U.S. state number 32 from the Radio Hacienda. So we pause there for the cause. Very cool. 32 states. From out west. It can be done. A lot of folks think that out west you can't hear all the stuff that you can on the East Coast. It can be done, I promise you. Stephanie's living proof. International DX 1566 FEBC Korea, South Korea. From 1249 to 1258 UTC on the 8th. Good, with very clear conversation between two males. It sounded like Korean, although it could very well have been Chinese. It was hard for me to tell the difference. Understandable. Choral music, a female reading what sounded like the headlines, and then a female vocal tune with what sounded like choir accompaniment. 250 kilowatts at 6,258 miles. Also, 1557 Radio Taiwan International, Chinese channel. And let's see, 310 at 1225 to 1240 UTC, fair with brief peaks, with a man and woman conversing in Chinese. Signal was weak, but steady throughout the monitoring period, 300 kilowatts at 7,005 miles. 2 new countries, and Taiwan is a new distance record. So we stamped the passport for you, Stephanie. There you go, my friend. Outstanding. Mileage record, new country, new state. That's definitely shout out worthy. And possibly another Missouri in there. Keep checking that one. If you hear them, listen for the WHB IDs. If you hear WHB mentioned, you got them. Our friend John Johnson in Arizona, call change KSAC 890. Olivehurst, California, logged during the DX Challenge this week. Previously logged them as KVMU. They are now Fox Sports with the KSAC call letters. Sacramento's new home for Fox Sports. There you go, my friend. And that's a log there for you. All right. Well done, our friend John. Stuart in Michigan. Weren't you in West Virginia one time? I thought maybe wrong. I know you have the W8 call sign. Maybe wrong. And it's some new gear for my birthday this past weekend. There's by Mini SDR. Awesome. My first ever SDR, despite checking out different sites like WebSDR, Global Tuners, and many others years ago. Because I'm entirely a Mac user, I decided on GQRX as my software. I've used it before. Very good stuff. I tested out with the rubber duck antenna for my Yaesu VX6R, and it seems to be more capable than any of my traditional radios. That is a common refrain, my friend. After finding out that the AirSpy Mini doesn't support the antenna of my Uniden scanner, I decided to get 2 portable wideband coverage antennas on Amazon. The Rimtronics, I'll get it out in a second, Rimtronics 843S and the Gabel SMA24. I compared both antennas on various bands and decided to use the Rimtronics on this SDR because the overall signal strength is slightly better. I'll use the other antenna as a backup for any of my handheld ham radio transceivers. Very nice. I don't expect to use the SDR on the roof of my apartment building where I like to DX, but it may give me an idea come Tropo season that the band is open if I can receive distant signals in my apartment where RF doesn't penetrate that well. If anyone knows of other SDR software for Mac that works with my AirSpy Mini, please feel free to let him know. There is that one, and then there was another one that I know there's SDR Connect, which does RSPs. There's another one, though, that I thought someone was working on at one time. I'll have to go back and double check. GQRX was the one I used to use when I was using my Mac. And my AirSpy HF Plus Dual back in the day. So, we got some new gear here for our friend Stuart. There you go, my friend. Well done. All right. Jerry. And I like, by the way, real quick, Stuart, I like how you were trying different options, right? It's all about trial and error. I see so many people, especially newer DXers, and it's fine. I used to ask the same question, right? What's the best antenna for this? What's the best radio for this? Well, sometimes you have to trial and error that stuff because what may be great for me in my setup, in my location, may not be great for you. You're not going to know until you try. Obviously, we don't have unlimited bank accounts They'll just let us buy whatever we want. But, do some research and find that option you think might work based on what you're trying to do, and go from there. There's lots of websites out there, including dxcentralonline.com, where we talk about AM and FM antennas and things like that. We're going to be doing more of that, by the way, because this summer I've got some stuff already in the works that we're working on. That should be very cool. Jerry Hart up in New York on the 8th of March, 10:59 UTC, WWNL 1080 in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. That's a new log for Jerry. Very nice. 1200 UTC, WCHR 1040 in Flemington, New Jersey. Also new log. Another new log here, 1200 UTC, WCCS 1160 in Homer City, Pennsylvania. 1100 UTC, WBCE 1200 Kentucky, Wickliffe, Kentucky, that is. That's another new log. 1100 UTC, WTKT in 1460 is the frequency on that one from Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. Also a new log. On the 13th, got a couple new ones here as well. WKOK on 1070 from Sunbury, Pennsylvania. Newcastle, Pennsylvania is 1200 WUZZ, made it in with their classic rock. And WTOU 1660 Kalamazoo. Michigan on 1059 UTC on the 14th. The Touch. All new logs. These stations were recorded for the Spring Equinox Challenge using AirSpy Discovery and the U-Loop antenna. Fantastic, my friend. Very, very cool. Bunch of new logs, new haul. Glad that AirSpy and the U-Loop is doing it for you, because that U-Loop, a lot of people kind of go, yeah, about the U-Loop. Let me tell you what. I, again, don't want to give away too much about my article that hasn't even hit the streets yet, but there's something there. There's definitely something there. All right, one more shout out, and then we'll get back to some more DX about that. And then remember, this next hour, we're going to be focusing on some FM. Weather's warming up. FM Tropo is starting to get up going, man. It got me excited this week. It felt like summertime, and I was so happy. David in Georgia. 1340 was the last medium wave frequency I needed to order in order to log a station on every single frequency. On March 10th, I had a nearly positive ID when I heard BIN news. Checking on the internet, I found a BIN station in 1340 in Dayton, Ohio, and one in Augusta. Turns out it was the Augusta station. Now I've achieved my goal, at least one station on every AM frequency. Well done, my friend. It was hard work, but it was worth the effort. Yes, it is. Now is the time to revisit other frequencies for second, third, and fourth stations. That's the way to do it. A couple of days ago, I was tuning up the dial and found a strong station on 1470, heard to be RGA in Rome. Another new station. Outstanding. The second on this frequency. I may not have the benefit of all the directional antennas that others have, but I still do very well. On with more DX. Here, my friend. You know what? I'll tell you this. Here's my thing on like the directional antennas and stuff like that. They are really, really good if what you're trying to do is shrink the amount of time it takes for you to get the stuff that you want to hear. Okay? So for me, I predominantly look for Latin American stations. Now, can I hear Latin American stations without one of my directional antennas? Probably, yeah. Is it going to take a lot longer in the different kinds of conditions and more of a methodical approach? Absolutely. Can it be done? Yeah. What the Kazas and the Super Loops and all these others do is it takes my impatience and it shrinks down that amount of time it takes for me and the amount of effort it takes for me to get those stations. So I can hear Ecuador any given night on 1510 because I have the antennas that I've built specifically for that purpose, right? Does that mean I can't hear Ecuador without those antennas? No. I can hear Ecuador on my W6LVP loop. It takes a little more work, a little more patience, a little more time, but I can get to them, right? So for those of you who are not able to take advantage of the big, huge directional antennas, I point you to our friend Stephanie out in Palm Desert. Stephanie is out there out west, absolutely crushing it with a magnetic loop antenna on her balcony. Is she racking in huge numbers of logs every week? No. Is she getting the DX? Yeah, she gets there. A little slow and steady to win the race, right? A little patience, a little hard work, a little perseverance. Getting there, right? Getting the stuff in the logbook. And that's what it is. I mean, it's the magnetic loops will get you the DX. The U loops, the W6 LVPs, they'll get you the DX. The portables will get you the DX. It just might take a little longer, but you're going to get it if you're methodical and you keep at it and you do your research and find the right timings to get certain things based off of gray line and different stuff like that. Like, you'll get there eventually. There may be some things that are like super exotic that might be a little tough to get, but the vast majority of what you want to get, you should be able to get with a little bit of time, a little bit of patience, right? So, kudos to you, my friend David. You're crushing it with the setup that you got, right? You're absolutely crushing it. So, kudos and well done. And another. There's Barry. You don't need a huge antenna. My only Peru logging was on a W6 LVP loop. I've said this story quite a few times. When I first moved here to Mandeville, before I had a chance to build all of my directional antennas, I was using one single W6 LVP loop mounted on the side of my house. I heard 300 stations my first week. I forget how many countries. It was quite a few countries. Into Latin America. Heard Alberta that week. I heard out in California, some stations in California I still have not heard since. KGB in San Diego, right? Have not heard them since. Heard them here that week. So again, so much of DX is luck and timing and being in the right place at the right time. So much of it is. I wouldn't have Washington State and British Columbia if I hadn't just been in the right place at the right time to hear them. And had, turned it on and said, oh, let's go see other folks are hearing. Let me see. Oh, there they are. Oh, my gosh. It was just luck. Because the antenna ain't pulling them in today. Promise you that. So much of this hobby is right time, right place, right propagation. The rest of it's just shrinking the amount of time and patience that you need to have to get to the DX. That's all. All right. We'll get back to our next round of shout outs here after in the next hour. We got Matthew, David, Pete, Tom, Carl, and Jacob all set up and ready to roll for our next set of shout outs. So those of you who I just mentioned, don't go anywhere. We'll be getting to your shout outs here in a bit. All right. I think it's time for some more DX. Again, we'll be doing some FMDX here in the next hour, but for right now, let's get back to some AM because I haven't had a chance to do hardly any in the last couple weeks. So I think it's time that I do some DXing. Where you guys want me to go? Give me a frequency and we shall gather there together. Tell me, we did 1580 and 1570 at the top of the hour here in the last hour. Where would you like for me to look? Give me a frequency and we shall make it happen. If you're looking for something Latin America, maybe you're looking for something down this way, down here in Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama area, and you'd like to see if what you're hearing and what I'm hearing are the same thing, bring it on over. We'll give it a shot. In the meantime, while we wait for some ideas of things to tune in, let's go back to our shortwave Central Kiwi. Now, this DX session is brought to you by International Radio Club of America, IRCAonline.org. Go there for more information about membership. You can take advantage of all the benefits that come with that. I have my usual little Latin American beacons. I want to see what kind of conditions we're looking at here. So let me go look at my usual Latin American beacons. We're going to start with 770. BVI at top of the hour. We'll give it a shot, man. Kind of messy now sounding, isn't it? Take a look at the current conditions. I know you guys can see it here on the screen. I need to pull it up on my side so I can take a look at the current terrestrial indices, as they used to, I think they still say on WWV. 24A index, K index of 3. So we have an elevated A, an elevated K. Is our BZ negative? No, is very much not negative right now. Okay. Let's go bounce back up to 780. Things do seem agitated a bit, don't they? Disturbed. Don't forget, we continue our Equinox challenge here that will roll on for another week. So next week we'll be announcing our next challenge. So this Gray Line Equinox challenge continues for another week. Don't forget, you can go to our website, dxchallenges.com, register there, and you can partake, be part of the festivities. I haven't even logged into the challenge site this week. I haven't even logged in yet at all since I launched this week. That tells you what kind of week I've had. I think last night I was doing spreadsheets until 2:30 in the morning. So I don't even know where we are, like how we're looking, how folks are doing, because I haven't even logged in to look. I see that we have 1,000 logs this week. Is that for real? There's no way. Okay, yeah, there is. We got Barry with 278, Greg with 229, Neil with 225, Dennis at 159, John Johnson at 96. So we've got 8 DXers that have submitted logs so far. Walter's got 9 in here. David Flopman with 10. Stephanie's got 2. 8 DXers have logged stuff, and we're still over 1,000 logs, which is one of the highest counts we've had so far this year. 7 countries, 45 states. Wow. 701 unique stations. Goodness. No Vermont, no Maine, no Montana, no Idaho, no Oregon. Everything else in the lower 48 is in. I'm imagining this 780 is probably Radio Viva Pasto, but we're going to stick it for a minute here to see. And as we get to the top of the hour, we'll swap over to our southeast wire to see if we have any signs of BVI. Doubtful, but we'll check it. Wow, you guys have just absolutely been crushing this challenge this week. I am so far behind. Yeah, conditions are sounding wee bit unsettled. All the more reason for us to check it out, those FM recordings here after the next hour. I'm going to take a guess that this right here that we are hearing is our ham radio neighbor. I'm going to take a guess that that's who that is. Alan says WBBM is barely audible tonight in KC. Jacob says he doesn't even have a carrier on 780. Band is dead. High noise content right now. Signals are attenuated, even down this far south where we are in Louisiana. And it's not like it's a bunch of lightning crashes. I mean, they're there, but not where we're looking. Down this way, it's all clean. Radio Viva. Doesn't that stick out so nicely? Na 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 na. And they are... I filter my logbook here. $2,159 miles from here. Just under 2,200 miles. David's got to be XME in Monticello, Maine, up there on 780 loud. So that's who we have here. Let's take a gander now at our DX Central Kiwi. Let's go back down to 780 and let's pop it down to our southeast wire and see what we're hearing there.
Within her general store, Eco Flamingo, like Aztec Vegan Kitchen.
I even heard Viva Pasta there on the mini whip.
Rockwell are disposable dishes. We were concerned about how people would react.
Sounds like it's Rita Viva again. And that whatever this is that's here local to me is going to make it really tough to pull anything on BVI. Anybody have any other frequencies you want me to check? Let me know. We'll be checking them. Let's go check out our old favorite here, 910. See if we have RSN Radio. Got a couple of Spanish stations in here right now on 910. Let's check 800 and see if PJB's coming in.
I have underestimated my God.
Well, that's my local.
He's not going to leave me in this place of brokenness. He's not going to leave me, betrayer. And that's why I think we even love sharing. Because we have seen all the miracles.
Don't hear anything there. Let's do this.
And so I just loved when she would say.
That's my local here in New Orleans on 800. So let's go down here to the Air Spy HF Plus Discovery. Let's go swap this over here. All right, so we're on our Air Spy HF Plus Discovery. We've got a local here on 800.
Just know he is the god of creating something.
Let's get rid of him.
Oh, that's really. And this is perfect. In the right, you mentioned that, yes.
We have a Spanish station that is PJB. PJB Bonaire, Netherlands Antilles. They're in the absence of our local here on 800. Again, this is my local.
Not working. And
you can hear a station underneath them.
Probably, Lord, where are you? He's there. Let's start that conversation. Give us a call.
We get rid of the local, the SHO. Right now, PJB is kind of weaker. Let's see if I can dial him in a little bit on the... Hey, Mesa Mike. Yeah, they're going to be kind of tough right now. This close to sunset's a little early for some of these Latin stations, but they're starting to come in. Luna says to get WGTO here at 910. Where are they located? I don't recognize the calls. Ah, Michigan, yeah. That's gonna be a tough sled here. All of our antennas are pointing away and being very directional against that direction, and plus, right now, stuff to the north is super attenuated. Did hear W Radio here, 900 XEW.
Please set your DVR, your TiVo, or however you record.
Hearing a little BBM in there now. Jerry says he used the SDR Sharp baseband recorder for the first time. I'm liking it better than SDR console. You know, once you get used to the interface, it's actually pretty nice. I have to admit.
DX Central Live, top of the hour alert.
It's top of the hour time frame, means we are looking for IDs here on the AM band, and currently we sit on 780 kilohertz. Looking for a combination of probably, hopefully, more than likely, we're going to hear Radio Viva Pasto here out of Colombia. Looking for ZBVI, though, out of British Virgin Islands. Probably going to be kind of a tough one to get to tonight, though, given the conditions. I hear WBBM in there now more than I did before. Go check 770. There's New York to be ABC. $760.
27 offer ending soon. Only.
Let's just see what we can do here with $750.
Now at 866-90-NATION or visit windownation.com.
See if I can get rid of WSB.
Weather.
Traffic. 95.5 WSB. And
At 9 o'clock, I'm Steve Cummings. Our top story
big damage out west.
There goes.
Storm chaser Kirk Michelson on the scene of a horrific crash on Interstate 27 south of Amarillo.
Doesn't sound like there's anything underneath them.
Town of Allen Reed.
Those storms will
now.
Where's KTRH?
More of what matters to you. John Moore Services Studios.
The Senate pushes through the Monterey Parade. It is with traffic and weather.
7:30. It's usually Mexico, and they're usually pretty loud, actually. Very interesting that they're not very loud right now. Let's go look on the shortwave Central Kiwi and see if maybe we can get them there. XEX down on 7:30 Mexico City. Normally it's booming in here. Ah, there they are. I forgot we were on the Southeast Wire, which is looking away from Mexico City.
La verdad siempre me ha gustado
Leon. 7:20. We have a Spanish station underneath Chicago. Probably going to be a Mexican station. Either La Lupe Satillo. $10.50 XEG. No problem. That one I can do. Well, I say that. La Ranchera is not coming in very well. Let me check the West Super Loop. That would be probably a little bit better representation of that one. Let's go check them out. There they are. We've also got a gospel station in here on 1050 on our West Super Loop.
para que puedan tener toda la vida. 361 de la hora. Y el teléfono es 500560. Tenga una consulta gratis por teléfono. Un día más, ayudándole usted, amigo, amiga, a que su pareja regrese después de haber seguido con esa persona a consecuencia de un hechizo, de una maldad. Llámenos, por favor, porque somos los únicos. Verdadero metafísico.
There's an ID there. I couldn't pull it out, though.
Llámenos a esta hora del día.
This is XEG 1050.
0570. Y un día más, ayudándolo usted, amigo, amiga, a levantarse de esa cama que lo tiene postrado a consecuencia de un hechizo, de un embrujo, de alguna mala enfermedad por muchos años. Usted que tiene 10, 15, 20, 30, 40 años de estar enfermo, llámenos, por favor, que nosotros aquí lo sacamos de la duda. Le decimos si esa enfermedad es buena o es mala. Y si es enfermedad buena, le ofrecemos tratamientos 100% naturales de los mejores laboratorios del país. Y si es una enfermedad mala, inmediatamente lo curamos. Llámenos, porque aquí tenemos más de 1,500 recetas y tenemos oraciones de sanación. Llámenos.
Anyone looking for XEG, this one probably is going to stick out pretty nicely. So tune your radios to 1050 and see if you hear this guy.
Vender ese rancho, esa parcela, ese solar, esa casa, ese departamento, ese coche, ese trailer, esa combi, ese camión, ese propio vender. Llámenos, porque nosotros aquí le decimos si hay algún daño, alguna maldad en esa propiedad y es la causa que usted no pueda vender sus cosas. Llámenos a esta hora del día y pida una consulta gratis aquí con nosotros a Monterrey. 331 de la Lara. Y el teléfono es 250-0560. Y un día más, ayuda.
That's awesome, David. Got you, buddy.
Le damos el pasaporte a la vida y le damos el salvoconducto a su alma. Usted que tiene esa corregida, usted que está la
There's another station in there, Spanish. That would be new. There's also a talk station, which is probably Villa Platte KVPI, which I hear locally here on FM 92.5 all the time. All right. Kind of messy tonight. The conditions aren't super fantastic. I'm starting to hear some lightning crashes make their way in. And just the conditions overall just kind of meh. So let's take a quick break. And when we come back, we're going to be talking some FMDX. We're going to talk about my conundrum on my FM antenna situation. I want to get some thoughts from the group. We're also going to talk about some things you need to be doing right now to get yourself ready for FM season. I was reminded of that fact this week, that there are some things that I should be doing already to get ready that I haven't done yet. So we'll talk about that. Don't go anywhere, my friends. More DX Central Live is heading your way right after this.
DX Central, because we're all about radio. Visit us at dxcentralonline.com or check us out on YouTube. Search DX Central. DX Central Live is brought to you in part by...
From long wave to satellites, medium wave through HF, ham radio to scanners. If you can DX it, the Spectrum Monitor has you covered. Editor and publisher Ken Reitz has assembled a who's who of radio writers to share their knowledge and expertise from a wide range of DX-related topics. Each month, the Spectrum Monitor's columnists dive into their specialties to give readers tips, tricks, the latest news and station updates, and more. The Spectrum Monitor also provides a monthly assortment of feature articles that give in-depth insight into the past, present, and future of DXing. You can get a full year of the Spectrum Monitor for only $24. Individual issues from the current year are available for $3 each. You can also purchase previous years of the Spectrum Monitor in their entirety for as low as $12. For more information, visit thespectrummonitor.com. That's thespectrummonitor.com. For more than 90 years, the National Radio Club has been at the forefront of providing DXers with the latest in station news, DX-related technical information, and reception reports from DXers around the world. The NRC's AM radio log, now in its 45th edition, is the most expansive and detailed resource of station information for U.S. and Canadian radio stations that is available in any format. The club's publication, the DX News, is available in both print and electronic format and provides the latest information on call letter and format changes, construction permits, and other information to help keep DXers informed of the latest updates they may hear on the air. For more information, visit their website at nationalradioclub.org. That's nationalradioclub.org. With a lifetime membership, the International Radio Club of America gives DXers incredible value by putting important station information right at your fingertips. The club's e-publication, the DX Monitor, includes DXer loggings, station information updates, international loggings, and more. Other club publications include the IRCA Mexican Log, a must-have resource for any DXer that chases stations from Mexico, the TIS HAR list, the IRCA slogan list, sunset sunrise maps, and DXer technical guides. The joint IRCA-NRC email reflector and groups.io group is a hub for real-time DX conditions, station news, and DX-related conversation. For more information, visit ircaonline.org. That's ircaonline.org.
Through crashes of static in quiet hours, we listen. In languages we can scarcely understand, and of places we have only visited in our dreams, we listen. Incessantly, we perfect our array of aerials, receivers, and resources. We refine our skills and our techniques so that we might listen. We are DX Central, and we're all about radio. Visit us at dxcentralonline.com or check us out on YouTube. Search DX Central. Keep up with DX Central. Follow us on Twitter at DX Central.
This man told me to tell you to watch DX Central Live with Lloyd Van Horn every Friday night. Can you help me out of this chair now?
Airwaves playing loud and clear. Good DJs bringing cheer. Voice of gold up on the scene. Signal strong just like a dream. Hear the jingle station name. DXers in the nightly game. Picking up that magic sound. On the hunt all around. Radio heroes in the sky. Let them frequencies fly. Sound calling far and wide. Good DJs never hide.
From the DX Central North Shore Studios, this is DXC Live. Now here's your host, Lloyd Van Horn.
It's DX Central Live from the North Shore Studios here in beautiful, historic Mandeville, Louisiana. All right, so we're going to switch gears a bit. Fitting, because the AM band is kind of toasted tonight. Let's talk some FM. So we've had our first couple of Tropo openings of the season down here on the Gulf Coast, and the last couple ones have been pretty nice. They've been pretty nice. I mean, this is my last 24 hours here on the auto logger here, the 62-foot, or the omnidirectional up at 62 feet. You see what we have up here. All this stuff in Texas, all these are relogs. But getting deep into Dallas and San Antonio, up into parts of Arkansas, and then on our 21-foot dipole, even a little bit better into Arkansas. See, it's not always the antenna. This one's 41 feet lower. This antenna is 41 feet higher in elevation height than the dipole is. It's an omnidirectional, right? So it's a better antenna, better gain, and it's much, much higher. And this one heard some stuff that the other one didn't. It's not always the antenna, man. So yeah, we've had our first couple tropo openings here on the Gulf Coast, and some forecasts that I'm looking at. We'll look at here in a minute. Here, the tropo forecast show that we may be getting some more. So I wouldn't take a couple of minutes here to talk about some FM season stuff. You hear me talk about it all the time. We talk about FM. We talk about getting prepared, right? Doing your band scans. Well, I got a slap in the face on that this week. So you guys know every year I do a band scan to refamiliarize myself with my local FM band, because it can change. Stations come, stations go. Stations change format, change call letters, change PI codes, change frequencies. We recently had a 104.1 move to 103, or one station moved to 103.7 from Hattiesburg to New Orleans, and then our station on 104.1, some other stuff open. It's like all this stuff was kind of moving around. So it is important for us to do these band scans. And the reason I got slapped in the face with this week is I was one of my open frequencies that I keep here in SDR console, where I do all my FM DX. Pull this back up here. One of my receivers that I keep here is on 89.5, usually in this third spot right here. Well, 89.5 is now the home of a second WWNO HD2 station. There's already one station running their classical music format up on 104.9. Now they have two running the exact same program, one on 104.9, one on 89.5. 89.5 was a completely open frequency for me prior to that, and it was my third most productive frequency overall. So I just lost one of my most productive frequencies to a local station. Now, does that mean that I won't be able to get anything there? No. I'm sure there's some E-skip will be able to overtake it, or some tropo, things like that. But it's going to make life a little more difficult. It's going to no longer be one of my top three performers. I bet you that. So that reminded me, damn it, I got to go do my band scan. So once the tropo conditions that we're experiencing right now calm down a little bit, I'm going to be going over and doing a band scan, just going through every frequency and notating what I hear. Okay. And I'll give you guys a bit of a sample here of what my band scan looks like. You do as you see fit. How you want to format it, but just how I kind of organize mine. You'll see here, I have my frequency, and I put every frequency in order. So I have every single frequency on here, whether there's something there or not. I notate what I hear, even if I don't hear anything. I notate if there's a station there, I notate the frequency and the slogan or the programming kind of content. For instance, like we have the River, Bayou 95, the Gorilla, Tangi, or up here we have American Family Radio, things like that. This is the last band scan that I did last year. Then I notate the location, the format of what I hear, right? Actually, what I hear on the format. Then I'll notate their RDS decode if I got one. I also will get their signal strength. I'll notate what their signal strength is, and that's easy to do in SDR console. You have your dBm on your S meter in there. So I'll notate their signal strength that I'm receiving them at. That way, if they're weaker than usual or stronger than usual, I know there's something going on, right? Good or bad. Bearing. I like to know kind of the bearing of where they're located. So let's say it's a station that's to the west and tropo is to the west. Maybe that's going to overtake that station. Maybe if tropo is to the east, I can overtake that station because now we have strong signals to my east overtaking stuff that's to my west. Maybe, right? Any additional notes? This is where I'll put things in here, like any kind of notes about, like, normally it's this station, but sometimes I hear this one, or if it's a fully open frequency, or like, in this case, I have my HD signal from 99 or 93.3 on these two frequencies on 93.1 and 93.5. And then finally, what I also do is I categorize every single frequency. Every frequency I have, I categorize. And I categorize a couple different ways. I do local, right? So if it's a local station in my area. I also have another one here for, what happened with these guys? Why don't I have any categories on those? So that's interesting. I also have one here called strong local. This might be my older band scan. I also have one called strong local, which are reserved for, obviously your strongest stations. There's a fringe, a regional, things like that. So I keep these categories, and then what I try to do is I do an analysis on that to kind of see which ones are generating traffic, right? So I can say, okay, well, based off of that, this kind of opening is giving me stuff that's good to my fringe frequencies or my semi-local frequencies. So I'm going to spend some time looking at those as well as my opens, things like that. So it helps me kind of strategize when there's an opening. And I just go through and I notate every single frequency and what's going on there. So now I need to go back in and redo this because I have some changes to my local band. I've lost a frequency, at least one. So we'll see if we gain maybe one somewhere on the other side. But that's how I kind of do my my band scan. Just go through every frequency. You want to do it during dead band conditions when there's no tropo, no E-skip, no meteor scatter, nothing. You want it to be dead. March is a good month for that for most folks. March is a really good month for that for most folks. So just go through there, see what you hear. Okay. Now let's talk a bit about this most recent tropo opening. Let me actually pull this up on my screen. Give you guys a chance. So this is my local band right now. Okay. This is live look at my local band. This is the entire FM band. I'm using my ELAD FDMS3, which allows me to see the entire band at the same time. 24 megahertz for the bandwidth. So I can see everything from top to bottom to top on the FM band. I can also record the entire FM band with this SDR. This has completely changed my FMDX, having the ability to do this entire band like this. So you'll see there's quite a bit of dead space in here. So for those who are unfamiliar, the yellow traces, these yellow lines you see, those are strong stations, mostly local stuff, right? Stuff here in the area that I would probably hear day in, day out. The ones that are a bit lighter colored here, like the blues and whites and things like that, those are stations that are a bit weaker. There's probably some semi-locals, some fringes, things like that are a little bit further out or just weaker in general from me. So they're able to be received probably most times at you turn on the radio and listen, but they're not as strong as your big yellows, right? And then you'll see these like this one here, where it looks like there's a signal in the middle and then two block lines next to it. Those block lines are HD, right? So that's a local station on this frequency here, 105.3, which is my local WWWL, right? It's the FM side of WWL on 870. So there's 105.3 is the local, and then on 105.1 and 105.5, there's an HD signal from 105.3. So I know on 105.1 and 105.5, I've got an HD signal from a strong local station. So if there's going to be DX on those stations, that opening needs to be strong enough to overtake the HD signals from my local station there, right? And you'll also see some of these that are kind of, pretty barren in here. These are right now open frequencies. So if I tune to those, you'd either hear a super weak station or just static. So for instance, right here is 100.1. So we're going to go down here to 100.1. I'm going to listen up. It's static, right? 100.3. There is a station there. It's not super strong. A negative 97 dBm, so there is something there. You can see kind of the wave right here. You can see some light traces of it. See if I can push that up a little bit. Yeah, you see now a little bit more clearly. Right, so that is a semi-local station here in the area, but they're not very strong. So that's the frequency that, if there was the slightest opening, would probably overtake that station. Because, it's not very strong. It doesn't have to compete with it very much. So again, this is my local band. Here, let me go back down here. My center frequency 98.3. This is what my local band looks like. Now let's pull up my recording from the other morning rather. This is the morning of the 12th. Our first Tropo opening that we had. This is the morning. This is what Tropo looks like down here sometimes. And this isn't even the strongest one that I've seen. This is moderate on the scale. All right. See the difference? I'm going to pause it right here. All those big areas of nothing have been filled in. Some of the things that were blue before are yellow now. And a lot of these stations, a lot of these frequencies rather, have traces on them now. So this just tells you this Tropo opening is giving me more stations. So one of the things that you can do, even if you don't have a full band SDR like this, you can use this on like an RSP that has 10 megahertz or 6 or 8 or even 2. Tune your radio to an area where there's typically nothing. Okay, typically just static, especially if there's like static. I'm not talking about like an HD signal like 105.1 or 105.5 for me, right? We have those HD sidebands. I'm talking about just a totally open, like 100.1. Tune your radio to that, okay? Zoom out as far as you can on your SDR window and just watch it. And when you start to see those frequencies that are normally empty start to fill in, you got something going on. You got some Tropo, you got some E-skip, okay? So this is my band the morning of the 12th. We're going to start looking at some of these frequencies here to kind of see what came in. Let me go up here to the top of my band. All right. Real quick, I'm going to pull up a map here that shows you what I caught that morning. We kind of have an idea of what to expect. This also brings me to my conundrum. I have been using traditionally, I've been using my 9-element Yagi antenna with my ELAD, okay? Sitting about 12 feet, maybe 15 on if I'm lucky, right? It's probably closer to 12 feet. It's just above the roof line of the where the gutters are and stuff like that, right? It's right there above the edge of the roof. It's about 12 feet. And it's a 9-element, which, you know, gives you extra gain and things like that, super directionality, great front to back ratio. So the stuff on the back side of the Yagi you can null out pretty easily. You get these deep nulls, but it's really low on the ground, 12 feet. That's super low. It works great, but I definitely think it can work better. So this summer or this spring, I'm about to pull the trigger on 2 easy up telescopic push-up poles at 33 feet each. Okay. And I'm going to put this Yagi up at 33 feet. That'll completely clear my roof line. I still have a lot of trees in the area and things like that, which do degrade FM signals, as do your neighbors' houses during E-skip. Those can degrade your signal as well. But I'm going to put it at 33 feet. That should get it up high enough to where I've got nice line of sight for a little bit more, especially with Tropo. Especially going to help me out on Tropo. Not as much E-skip. Probably more on Tropo. I also have currently right now up in the air a 4-element Stellar Labs Yagi antenna that's missing an element. I'm about to replace that. I have a 4-element log periodic from Inov Antennas. About to put it together. That too is going to go up at 33 feet on its own mast. Okay. Here's my conundrum. A log periodic is more broadband, right? So what I mean by that is a Yagi is going to be tuned for a specific frequency, probably towards the middle of the band, to give you as good a performance in one area as possible, and then it kind of trails off as you kind of go outwards from that. But it's tuned usually for the middle of the band, but it's tuned for a specific frequency. A log periodic is tuned for a set of frequencies. So there's different elements in there that allow it to be really, really good at different frequencies within your desired bandwidth. In this case, the FM band. So it's just as good on the low end as the middle as the high, right? So it's just going to perform better across the entire FM band. That's one of the benefits of a log periodic, is it's more broadband in how it performs. So my conundrum is, do I put my log periodic that's more broadband and tie that to my ELAD FDMS3, since it gives me the entire band. And if I'm recording a Tropo or E-skip event, theoretically, it should perform very, very good throughout the entire band. It's only 4 elements, so it's not going to have the gain or directionality that, say, in the front to back ratio that, say, my 9-element Yagi is going to have. So if I'm trying to get super laser point focusy on a particular signal, it's not going to do that as well. But it's going to give me a broader look at the entire FM band and probably perform better at more frequencies than the Yagi will. The Yagi, if I don't put it on the ELAD, will go into a setup that I have on my RSP Duo, where I am pairing it with my 62-foot high omnidirectional, and I'll use that for phasing, right? So I've got the Omni, I've got the super, laser pointy Yagi. I'm turning that around and looking for signals, and then I can null them out using diversity mode. So one of these is going to be used for diversity mode, for phasing in a 2-antenna phasing setup. One is going to be used as a broadband recorder. I feel like the log periodic is going to be better on the ELAD. Even though it's only 4 elements compared to the 9 elements of the Yagi, my gain will be lower, my front to back will be lower. I don't think it's very, I'd have to go back and look at the numbers. I don't think it's a very big difference. But I feel like it will not perform up to those standards if those are the metrics you're looking at, gain and front to back ratio. I don't think it's going to perform as well as the Yagi on those. But if I'm recording the entire band, it might give me a better look on all frequencies. So I'm feel like I'm going to probably end up putting the log periodic on the ELAD, have it up at 33 feet, and just go to town. And then I'll have the 9-element on the other 33-foot mast and put that in the diversity mode, the diversity setup. But I might still go back and forth on this one. I've had this conversation with myself in my head now dozens and dozens of times about which one is better. And every time I flip, I'm like, well, no, the Yagi I think would be a better setup because of this and this. I'll put the log periodic in the diversity setup because that'll give me this and this and that. Like, I keep going back and forth. So your thoughts, esteemed panel of DXers, because none of us are on an island here. Well, some folks might be. We have a great amount of knowledge that are out here right now in our chat room. Share your thoughts. Let me know what you think. What would you do in this situation? You have equal amount of elevation off the ground, 33 feet on both. That's not a consideration. Both are going to clear the roof line. One's going to be in the front yard, one's going to be in the back, but they both clear the roof line. Which one would you do? Which one gets the broadband ELAD, full band? Which one gets diversity mode? You going Yagi or log periodic? Let me know your thoughts in the chat. Let's take a gander now at some E-skip now, or some Tropo rather. I wish it was E-skip. This is what we had here the other day. I'm going to go and pull my logbook up here from the 12th. Did it show as the 12th or did it show as the 13th? I think it showed as both, actually. Oh, it was all 12th. Okay. 12th it is. So here is what my logbook looked like. So here's what we were getting. We got a little bit over here into Texas. So we had some deep stuff into Texas, northwest up there at different parts of the morning. We had a little bit over here into Georgia, to South Carolina at one time, and most of it was centered around here in Florida. We're getting this really nice southeast path down here into the west coast of Florida. Okay. So this is what I'm thinking now. These were all logged around like 9, 10, 11 o'clock that morning. I don't know what the band looked like at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 7 o'clock in the morning, which is when this recording is from. Okay. So we're recording around the bottom, right before sunset or sunrise, right before and right after sunrise. So several hours before it. I have no idea if this is going to be more of a western path, northwest, southeast. I don't know. We're going to find out. So we're going to go ahead and pull up our ELAD FDMS3 recording here. And this is with our stereo probe 9-element Yagi. And let's just see what we had. Now, this first frequency here, I can tell you, we'll see what the RDS says. is this kicker. Now, there you go. This is a frequency where I have a strong local station in the area, Bay St. Louis, Mississippi. It's a country station, kicker, but they're not here. They're nowhere to be found. Jacob says everything about putting up a tower. I see him on Craigslist. I'm not allowed to. I can put up a mast. Can't put up a tower because of the concrete and stuff with my my landlord, so I can't put up a tower. So the 33-foot push-up hole is about the best I can do. I wish I could do a tower. All right, let's bring up our navigator here. David says go with the log periodic on the ELAD. I'm thinking that's, as of right now, that's what I'm thinking. But again, I changed my mind on this matter about as frequently as I change frequencies when I'm DXing. All right. Stephanie says also ELAD with the log periodic. I mean, worst case scenario, if it's really that bad, I can just swap them, right? There we go. There was a New Orleans station in there. Let me go back to my FM. So this is FM list here. And you'll see, what did I hear? I just heard this translator, W300DP for Gospel 600 WVOG, which is a translator for our AM 600 station here. That's what we just heard an ID for just then. That's a local. That's nothing fun and interesting. So let's go somewhere else. 107.7. We have an open carrier. Oh, we have the 4F download, which I know here locally means I have, this is, this is Vicksburg. Can't be Vicksburg. No. That's the touch. This would be AZA and Liberty. Who that is. Yeah. That's a frequent local here. 107.5. I'm going to turn this down so that the copywriters don't hit me hard. 107.5 is a local. Here's WRGV Pensacola. Nice RDSD code here. They're a fairly common tropo catch here. I'm going to skip ahead the next hour. Probably going to still see them here. Yeah, Pensacola. Relatively common here on tropo catches.
Well, when we sent her goddaughter up there.
Okay. 107.1. That's Hammond. That's a local country station. Just absolutely flamethrower. I'm just checking my recording here. Now I could.
800 up to $1,000 plus special financing with no money down.
I'm going to do this as a waterfall. So this is what I'm going to do here. Let me hit the mute. I had been using the traditional navigator where it's like a box for every minute. Instead, what we're going to do here is we're going to do a waterfall. So to do this, when you're in the navigator window where you have like your little boxes and stuff for all the different minutes, this little three, I call it a hamburger, little three horizontal lines stacked on top of each other. I go over here and I do the waterfall. Okay. And then I'll get my my interval here as tight as your computer will possibly allow you to do. For mine, I can do down to 1/10 of a second. But, you know, as the lower you go, the better resolution you're going to get. So it's going to build this out. So this is a great way. I know some folks use like the data file analyzer and things like that, which is super good for like meteor scatter and stuff like that. But for a tropo catch, the signals are pretty static. They're pretty stable. So data file analyzer is not going to be super helpful for me to find like that one little segment where there's a bit of audio like you would on Meteor Scatter or on even sometimes eSkip. On Tropo, there's stable signals. They're there. They're probably there for an entire morning. So I just want to see where these signals are at and kind of skip around that way. So that's why we're doing it this way here with the waterfall display for our navigator here. So I just want to kind of show you guys that. It's going to take it a few minutes to do because it's like an 2 hour and a half long recording. So it'll take it a few moments here to build this waterfall. While we're doing that, 107.1 is not going to give us anything. 106.9 though could. Yeah, and while it builds this out, it's going to be kind of choppy. I'm actually going to pause it here to give it a little more resources to do this build out. While we're waiting for that, let's go ahead and look at the Tropo forecast while we're talking FMDX here. So I was looking at the Tropo forecast here for the Gulf. This is, let's see, right now it is what, 0100, 0140 right now. So we're somewhere in between these two right here, right now. According to Bill's website here. So I'm going to go ahead and give you guys, go back to the Eastern North America. Give you guys the link here for Bill's website. Again, super, super outstanding for keeping tabs of Tropo and when to expect it to develop here. We do have a little bit of a Tropo that's developing here as we look at the front. It looks like it's going to go away there. That's on its way through tomorrow. So you'll see it up here, right here. So, and then it gets a little bit stronger as we see some Tropo from Illinois down into Texas. That really starts getting going here Saturday. This is around, 0400 Central Time. So the reminder about how these Tropo ducts like this work, if you see a Tropo front like this, right? Like you see just a long corridor, sometimes it's associated with a cold front, sometimes it's not. But if you see one of these kind of long strips like this, anyone underneath here is going to be experiencing Tropo and can experience Tropo alongside of it, but also people on the ends down here at the other, each of the ends. So up in Wisconsin, Michigan, especially here at the Great Lakes, you might see a little bit of this pop down to your way. Definitely anyone in Illinois, Missouri, Arkansas, northern Louisiana, northeast Texas, all you folks should see. And then down here in like towards Dallas, even I would say if you're in Dallas, Friday or Saturday morning around 4 o'clock in the morning Central Time, I would have a recording set up because you have a shot at getting the Tropo. So what happens sometimes with these signals, this happened to me here last year. And I did a write-up about this, analysis about it for this Tropo opening we had on August 8th of last year. And we had the Tropo duct look just like this, kind of. It was kind of more this way, but it was to my north. I was not underneath the Tropo duct, as you'll see here in a second when I show you guys. Remember this last year? So this was the Tropo duct on the forecast. You see it was way north of me, right? I shouldn't be seeing any of it, right? I was in the blue. But I had DX up into Iowa and Illinois from this Tropo opening, right? So I'll share this in the chat as well in case you want to do a little reading. It's really interesting. This talks about kind of some of the meteorological things that occurred that provided us this opening. So this can give you some things to kind of look for your own Tropo interests. But there you go. This front right here, 4 o'clock in the morning, Central Time, Saturday morning. This, you might want to set some stuff up if you're anywhere just outside on the ends of this or underneath this influence. I know Sean's not on the stream tonight, but Sean, if you're watching the replay, you may want to have something set up for your FM for Tropo. Yeah, up towards Maine. You guys are even looking at some down here, developing here off the East Coast. When you start seeing that blue here into that fair to moderate, that's where things start getting interesting. That front begins to push a bit further east here as we get into, this is around 7 o'clock Central Time, Saturday morning. Now, it dissipates a bit during the day, as they typically do. but it starts to rev back up again. This is at 1 o'clock in the morning Sunday. You can see the front is definitely right over here. So during the daytime, the sun usually kind of burns off the temperature inversions that create these tropo ducts. So in this case, that's definitely going to happen. Well, mostly going to happen. We will have a little bit here, down here in the New Orleans, kind of Gulf Coast area. We'll have some tropo kind of giving us a path down into Mexico, perhaps on Sunday morning. This would be what 10 o'clock Saturday night into Sunday morning. We'd have a path down to Mexico potentially, so that'll be interesting to see. We have to set up a recording for that. And then the front comes through and kind of clears stuff out. And then you'll see, look at this nice little bit up here in the Midwest, Tennessee, Barry, a little bit of a tropo opening. Now we're approaching in that moderate to high. Okay, there's a little couple of blotches of high in here, moderate to high for parts of Ohio, Indiana, Tennessee, Kentucky, down into Alabama, parts of Georgia. This is Tuesday morning around 7 o'clock Central Time. Okay. Now, obviously, the further out in this forecast we go, the less, you can really take kind of credence on it. But look at this. I mean, up here in Maine, David, you got some tropo right off your coastline. Maybe some stuff up here in the Maritimes might be available for you. Look at that. Okay. East Coast, stuff right off the coastline. Doesn't look like there's a whole lot. There may be something, East Coast DXers. Look at this. You have this, it's picking up this front again. This is Monday morning at like, what's that? No, that's actually Sunday night. 7 o'clock Sunday night Central Time, so 8 o'clock Eastern Time. That front's coming through, so about 8 o'clock Eastern Time Sunday night. Here from the Mid-Atlantic down into Florida, you may have something showing up here. It's picking up on it along that front line. And then again, we start to see this building in here Monday morning, 7 a.m. Central Monday morning. Nice blob here in Missouri, Illinois, Iowa. That really starts kind of picking up again here as we get into Tuesday. The Gulf Coast is going to be turning into a bath here soon as we get into midweek next week, potentially. Another southeast path developing here towards Florida. Great Lakes region. Your tropo is going to be gearing up here Wednesday as well. Wednesday morning, this is around, 2 a.m. Eastern Time. Looks like another little front right in here in the Mid-Atlantic. Down into, look at the Florida up in here. So this is pretty common, right? This would not be anything that's like unheard of. So yeah, a little Mid-Atlantic boost here. Maybe down into the Carolinas on Thursday morning. Again, this one's kind of far out, so take it with a grain of salt. But opportunity, at least, I would say, Midwest folks here, Tuesday morning, Monday night, Tuesday morning, I would definitely have yourself a recording ready to see if anything comes in between, say, midnight and sunrise, your local sunrise time-ish. See if anything comes in, especially as you get closer into sunrise. So if you want to save some space on your hard drive, I'd say probably an hour before sunrise, an hour after sunrise is probably a good bet. Record that, and you should have a shot at some tropo. Out west, what do you guys have? Let's take a look. So this is ish right now ish. Stephanie, just off of the coast of California, got a little something cooking over here. Does anything ever come inland? A little bit here Saturday night. A little bit. It just hits that coastline and just dies, doesn't it? It just hits that dry air. Yeah, it hits that dry air there in California and just goes away. Man. But down here off of Baja, man, this whole, I bet you this is just nonstop, 24/7, 365. There's some sort of tropo happening down here. I would bet. Between Baja and the mainland down here, I bet they're just nonstop. Okay. So there's some tropo stuff cooking. Our waterfall is ready for me to take a look at. Let's see what we have here. 106.9. Turn that up just a touch. 106.7 Port Sulphur. That's a local. 106.5. Well, I guess it's got to the end of the file here, hadn't it? Back up. What frequency is this? 106.5. So I have some intermittent signals here on 106.5. I'm going to find a place where it's strong. Here we go. This is around 6:10 a.m.
Service charge text with sale. $25 activation fee. Terms and restrictions apply. Cricket 5G is not available everywhere. See store for details.
Welcome to the Community Scientist. I'm excited to bring you our.
This is probably going to be a Louisiana station.
If you live or work in St. James, St. John's, St. Charles, Ascension, Calcutta,
Yeah.
Baton Rouge, or St. Bernard.
I'm just going to do a quick scan here, looking for strong RDSD codes. We're going to do that right here around 6, and then we'll do the same thing around 7. There's local. This is local. That's not local.
You know what they're doing.
That's local. Well, there's a local there. That's not them though.
Never heard that phrase.
They want
It's like a trophy, like Dexter.
Souvenirs. They take stuff afterwards.
Maybe like a sweater or a shirt. Happens next.
That's Houston. All right, KRB.
Klepto boyfriend. I don't know how you would stay away from that guy in the future, but at least your antennas are up.
Exactly.
Take care.
There's Houston, KRB. It's a pretty common tropo catch.
Prices, traffic deaths, westbound I-10. That construction up again today between 45 to North Freeways.
Open. This is one of our new locals. It says Hattiesburg, but it's here in New Orleans now. So it's my new pest.
103.3.
That's a local.
Covenantofpeace.net. Until next time, may the peace of God keep your hearts and minds through Christ.
There is a semi-local here.
Your local Medicare experts, GarySmithAgency.net. This is WOSM Ocean Springs.
And that's them.
103.
The religious stuff there threw me because normally they're just a talk station. 102.9, that's probably a semi-local. Let's see here. Yeah, that's KMEZ Bell Chase. That's a local one here. 102.7. This is probably Florida, Milton, Florida. Country music. Pretty common tropo. Yeah. Baton Rouge. Right now, this tropo is looking pretty normal. I wouldn't say this is anything like I would be looking like a southeast path down for Florida. This is what I would traditionally see when there's a little bit of a tropo enhancement right along the coast. We're talking stuff in Louisiana, to my west towards Lafayette. We're talking maybe little Lake Charles into Houston, some of the stronger Houston stations, east to Mobile, just into the Panhandle, maybe as far east as Pensacola or so. This is, when we talk about Gulf Tropo, this is like the routine day in, day out Gulf Tropo that you would get on a typical summer day. Okay? So this is not dead band because there's some stuff that you can't hear when the band is actually dead that will be here now. But this is pretty close. There's that 100.1. I'm just bouncing around on the file here, using my waterfall. Trying to find the other side of this Stevie. Hey, there's one. That's Florida.
WZJZ Port Charlotte. Escucha la aplicación gratis iHeartRadio para toda tu música, radio y podcasts. Gratis nunca sonó tan bien. Magic. magicfortmyers.com.
There you go. That's Florida. That is the call letters on that one is WZJZ Magic 100.1. They have an RDS code of 17AF when that comes in. Right now it's apparently not. 560 miles, 114 degrees, so south of east for sure. Port Charlotte, Fort Myers, Florida. So that's one that we did know that we had heard. I heard that later in the morning. So that's a known. A nice ID there. So we're gonna grab that. I'm gonna grab that for a air check for the YouTube channel here. Bum bum bum.
WZJZ Port Charlotte. Escucha la aplicación gratis iHeartRadio para toda tu música, radio y podcasts. Gratis, nunca sonó tan bien. magicfortmyers.com.
Now they're supposed to do that mostly in English. I didn't hear any English, well, broken English in there. So let's go ahead and just 100.1 WZJZ Port Charlotte, Florida 03 1225. That was at 0602. That was what, 560 miles. So this is just me and my instance of Bandicam here, keeping my file, documenting here, so I can upload that air check for the YouTube channel. Once I'm free of my backlog of air checks, I was organizing them the other day, and holy crap, a lot of air checks. Let's see, what time is it? 55, 56. You guys want to go back and do some more AM? Go looking for some more stuff here. See if we can find some more good DX. This DX is going to be brought to you by Spectrum Monitor. The Spectrum Monitor. I'm getting to it. There we go. TheSpectrumMonitor.com. Make sure you go up and check out the website. You can get yourself a subscription for $24 for the entire year. Individual issues for $3. Archived ones as low as $1 an issue. And that does include, hey, if you do subscription, you'll get my column next month in the April issue where I talk about the DC trip. So you'll hear about it there first. All the recap of everything that we got, because there was some good stuff there. All right, so we were sitting on 1050 last we looked here on the AM band. Let's look for some more Latin American DX here. Why not?
DX Central Live top of the hour alert.
I haven't forgot about you, Carl. I got some shout outs coming here for the top of the hour. We're going to get those in because there's not that many left. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 5 left or so. So we can get those in here after we go to the top of the hour. Let's take a look at the AM band. Where you guys want me to DX at? Give me a frequency here. Right now we're on 1050 for XEG. La Ranchera de Monterrey. Heard an ID in there. David shows 1520. Matthew with 1130. $1130 is going to give you KWKH here in Shreveport, Louisiana. So if you're looking for Shreveport, Louisiana, this is your chance to match up with my stream. There is an ID from KWKH. Go to 1520 as requested. What do we have here on 1520? This is on the shortwave Central Kiwi. So we are looking to the south. I have an idea who this is. And it's probably Florida. I'll never forget the night that I heard that Vancouver station on 1130 Matthew. That was a... Scoot back into frame here. That was a dynamite night. I never ever thought I'd be hearing Vancouver on AM from Louisiana. Just didn't. I thought it was impossible. Or maybe not impossible. Very unlikely. But there they were. You never know until you go try. Is this XYB or NDO in Florida? One of the two. Probably to be XYB in Indian Rocks is my guess. If I had to pick a station that this is most likely to be XYB in Indian Rocks, Florida. Heard 1090 from Seattle the other night, weak but audible. Nice. Every once in a while, I'll go up and DX off of a Kiwi up in the Pacific Northwest just to hear a different band. It's a lot of fun. This has gotta be Indian Rocks. How are you doing on those XE stations, Carl, that you were chasing? I know you were chasing a handful of Mexican stations. XEWA, XEW, XCRF, XEG, some of those. Which ones do you have left? We can go take a look at them for you. A couple of Spanish stations on 1090 and 1020. It's a good question. Out in your neck of the woods, that's a very good question. I'd say 1090 from your location, Spanish. It's either XEPRS down in Mexico, Tijuana, or KMXA in Aurora, Colorado. They do like sports and stuff like that. On 1090, one of those two might be your best bet. Who that could have been? 1020. There is a station in Washington State on 1020, La Pantera. There's also KCKN in New Mexico. Well, that might be a little far. And there is a 50 kilowatt down in LA that does a Spanish talk radio, which is probably who that was on 1020. KTNQ. That's I would imagine, probably, if I had to take a guess, those would be the stations that are most likely for you on 1020 and 1090. If these guys would ever ID. It's got to be Indian Rocks, though. Here on 1520. That's the most commonly heard stuff. Ay. They're going to love me on the copyright. Carl says, only one you're still missing is XEWA.
Και φέρνουμε τώρα και στα FM κύματα στη συμμονίδα των 101,9 FM. You're tuned to 101.9 FM stereo.
104.9 FM. That's got to be them. 1520. Show all stations. Yeah, 103.9. I probably heard that wrong. 103.9. That's who that is. That's Indian Rocks. On 1520. That's the Florida. All right. Do some shout outs. How about it? You guys want some shout outs? Talk about what you guys have been hearing. Let's do it.
Shout out loud, hear the call for every single big or small, from AM to FM, from C to C. We celebrate the ones who slag the IT. Shout out loud, let it be known, you're never DXing all alone. Through the static we found our way. Shout outs making waves today.
All right, we've got some good shout outs here. Start with Matthew there in Saskatchewan. Most of these are relogs, but some new ones in here as well. 660 KEYS, Williston, North Dakota, but usually heard in the day. 680 CJOB, Winnipeg, Manitoba. They dominate 680, just like Keys does. But also 910 KCJB in Minot, North Dakota. KATQ in Plentywood, Montana, 1070, and 1130 KTLK in Minneapolis. Very nice. A station that has so far still eluded me. But didn't think I would have any trouble hearing just due south 1,000 miles. Apparently the Mississippi River absorbs all those signals. 550 KFYR, Bismarck, North Dakota, and 660 CFFR News Radio, Calgary, Alberta. Not heard very often, but there they were. So there you go, my friends. Some new logs for you. Oops, I never did change my view here, so let's do that now. Well done, Matthew. Well done. David up in Maine. Some new ones on the South Bog. 3 new Columbians. for Colombians number 16 through 18. When you get double-digit Colombians, you know you're doing something right on the East Coast here. 550 HJHF Radio Nacional de Colombia on 550. 1090 HJBC Caracol Radio. Caracol Radio. Always love that guy's voice. 620 HJVP Nudo Radio. And New Country, Argentina, 870 in Buenos Aires. So we start off with the New Country for you because we're going to stamp your passport here and find a nice little cozy spot to be able to put the stamp in here for Argentina. Oh, that looks nice. And for your new Latin Americans, we give you this one as well, my friend. There you go. Well done, David. Those bogs are crushing it for you, man. Definitely crushing it. Our friend Tom Laskowski says, it's been a slow DX season for me as I'm dealing with some medical stuff, but happy to put a most wanted into my log this morning after being up all night watching the beautiful lunar eclipse. Thanks to a tip from Greg Harris in Chicago, I nabbed 550 KCRS in Midland, Texas with a very clear KCRS Midland Odessa ID. It's a tricky one because of KTRS in St. Louis. It's also on this frequency. In fact, KCRS and KTRS were both in at the same time that I logged this. So, and yeah, I've been trying for Midland myself, but KTSA and KTRS make it kind of difficult. So, nicely done, my friend. All right, well done, well done. Next up on the list, we have our good friend Carl DeWitt there in Tennessee. 4 new logs this week. 1470 to be MGG Egypt Lake in Florida. 1300 to be PDX in Morgantown, West Virginia. 1300 to be TLS in Tallahassee, Alabama. And 1350 WWWL in New Orleans for a new Louisiana. That brings my total to 994 stations. Inching ever so close to that big 1K. So, number one thing we have to do here more than anything else is we have to dole out a big old dose of that gumbo, baby, because we got Carl in here with some gumbo for WWWL, the bet. Oh, that gumbo looks good. All that sausage in that gumbo. Get some dirty rice while you at it too. And for those other great logs, we saw some wood your direction, my friend. Well done. Well done, Carl, as always, and we cannot wait to celebrate that 1,000 logs with you here. Hopefully very, very soon. 6 more to go. Very, very awesome, my friend. And mostly with, portables, man. Dude's crushing it with portables. Again, big directional antennas are great, but all they do is they just make it quicker. That's all it is. If you're tenacious and persistent and have a plan, eventually you'll get there. You'll get to what you're looking for. Look at Carl. Look at Stephanie. Look at David. Right? I'm just impatient. I don't want to wait for my DX train to come in. I want to go find my DX train wherever it might be. So my impatientness puts up directional antennas. Jacob up in Minnesota, got a couple shout outs here for you. The 2 new Nevada logs this week. The first was 840 KXNT in North Las Vegas, matched to one of the Palomar Mountain, California Kiwis. The second was heard less than 48 hours later with 780 KKOH, mentioned that earlier. In Reno, heard under WBBM with the help of the channel null. They were coming in for about 15 minutes before their sunset. Gray line enhancement on their side. Attached are some aligned air checks of KKOH, one off the Reno Kiwi and the other off of mine. So we can play some of those here for you guys really fast. Let's go ahead and start with the Reno Kiwi. And let's hear what it sounded like from Nevada.
Big East tournament tonight. Bad news for DePaul. They fell to Creighton, 85-81. At the United Center now, third quarter, and it's the Bulls trailing the Brooklyn.
Okay. So you have that in there, right?
Big East tournament tonight. Bad news for DePaul. They fell to Creighton, 85-81. At the United Center now.
And now, so that was Jacobs. That was Jacobs Kiwi, that was not the Reno. This is the Reno.
Mark Levin. News Talk 780 KOH.
So there you go. That is what was on the Reno Kiwi. One more time, we have that Mark Levin sounder there.
Mark Levin. News Talk 780 KOH.
Okay. And if we go back to, this is the one from Jacobs Kiwi. I was reading that wrong. My bad, dude. This is Jacobs Kiwi from there in Minnesota. It's underneath the station that was talking about the Bulls and the basketball and all that stuff. Underneath them, you'll hear that same Mark Levin sounder. Ready?
Big East tournament tonight. Bad news for DePaul. They fell to Creighton, 85-81. At the United Center now, third quarter.
That's there's no doubt about that one, right? That is absolute. So, my friend, we get you. We get you the log saw as well. So super duper, man. I have one Nevada. It was the DX test. Barely got that. I remember back in the 90s, we were in San Antonio for about a month staying at my granny's house. And I sat up every night from San Antonio, every single night on 720 and 780. I would spend probably an hour each on 720 and 780, just hoping for Nevada to come in. Never heard them. From San Antonio on my old Panasonic RF B300. Panasonic RF B300. Never heard of them. Only heard Chicago from San Antonio. So when I finally got Nevada in the logbook because of the DX test a couple years ago when they signed off, that was like a dream fulfilled kind of thing. So, anytime I see Nevada getting log, it's like, oh, that's pretty cool. It's pretty cool to see Nevada getting someone's logbook that's not in California, right? Or in Nevada or Arizona. All right, I think that's going to probably do it for us tonight here at DX Central. We're going to continue to do some review of that FM recording that we were looking at earlier, because I do want to see if we happen to snag anything additional that morning of the 12th, maybe. There might be some extra stuff in there. Keep an eye out on the sky for the storms tomorrow if you are here in the deep south, my friends. Stay safe. If you have a warning, heed it. Take a cover. Don't ignore those warnings. Those things were there for a reason, and this, to keep us from particularly dangerous situation, tornado watch. I'm just seeing this in the Slack channel. Oof. Memphis, Tupelo, Paducah, Evansville, Iowa, Jackson, Tennessee. Ooh. Aish. Yeah, so keep an eye on the sky tomorrow, my friends. Best of DX to all of you. And looking forward to seeing what you hear. So be sure to let us know in the shout-outs next week what you hear between now and then. And we'll get those shout-outs in there for you as well. For our sponsors, the National Radio Club, the International Radio Club of America, and the Spectrum Monitor Magazine. My friends, thank you so much for watching DX Central Live. We'll see you again right here next Friday at 23:45 UTC, 18:45 Central Daylight Time for DX Central Live Season 5. Take care. Best of DX.
Takes the stage. signals all through night. Waves that travel far and wide. Feel the magic deep inside. DX Central live tonight. Turning dials, feeling right. Lloyd will guide us through the waves. All the signals we will crave. Frequencies that cross the sea. Mysteries for you and me. Lloyd's voice cuts through the noise. Feel the thrill, enjoy the joys. Ghostly whispers in the dark. Find a station, hit the mark. Fading in and fading out. Lloyd helps clear the doubts. Stories from the distant land. Caught by waves that we command. From our homes we hear the call. DX Central live for all. DX Central live tonight. Turning dials, feeling right. Lloyd will guide us through the waves. All the signals we will crave. DX Central live tonight. Turning dials, feeling right. Lloyd will guide us through the waves. All the signals we will crave. DX Central live tonight. Turning dials, feeling right. Lloyd will guide us through the waves. All the signals we will crave. DX Central live tonight. Turning dials, feeling right. Lloyd will guide us through the waves.
This is DX Central Live. This is DX Central Live. This is DX Central Live.